What's up guys, it's James here, and in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the 3 highest return on investment amenities that you can add to your Airbnb, specifically for Airbnbs that are catered towards families or larger groups of friends, what have you. In other videos, if you guys like this one, I'm gonna put together other videos that talk about the best amenities to add for different types of listings. So if you're catering towards business travelers, that sort of thing. For this video, I'm gonna be specifically focusing on larger listings. So for any of you guys that have listings that are a few bedrooms that are catering towards families or groups of friends, this is the video for you. I'm going to be talking about the 3 different amenities that you can add to your property. They're going to give you the highest return on your investment in those amenities. Now, before we jump into this, I do just want to let you know that there's a link in the description down below to a free training. So you can sign up for that completely free. You'll just go to the page, it'll ask you for your email, you'll input it, then you'll get instant access to our training on exactly how to invest successfully in short-term rental properties. It's going to cover our 3 main pillars for how to invest successfully, generate massive cash flow, and build long-term wealth through short-term rental investing. It's something I'm really passionate about. I've been in this space for over 6 years now, and I really wanted to distill down everything I've learned so that you can be successful investing in short-term rental properties. And again, it's completely free to sign up for and join that training in the link in the description down below. We're also going to give you our analysis spreadsheet completely free when you join, so I highly recommend you check that out. So let's jump into it, and let's start with amenity number 1 that you can add to your family or group focused listing that's going to give you the highest ROI, and that is going to be games. Now, if you want the lowest barrier to entry here, the kind of least expensive types, these are generally just going to be board games. So if you go on Amazon, you grab a couple of board games, just look for some of the ones that are the most popular right now. So for example, Settlers of Catan or Ticket to Ride, as of the time of filming this, those tend to be the hot games. $15 to $50 on Amazon, depending on what game you're buying, and they're going to give a great ROI. Make sure you have a photo in your listing that showcases those games that you've got, and then bada boom, you're going to have another reason for families to want to travel to your listing. Now, games can go beyond just board games. Video game consoles can be a great move if you want to attract kids or you want to attract a bunch of guys, a group of friends that want to come and play video games. That can be a good one as well. And you can also go a little bit even further beyond this and invest into something like cornhole or yard games like bocce ball, things like that. Spike ball is another really good one. So if you have some outdoor yard space, those types of games can be really, really great, especially for attracting people in the summertime. So games, I would say, is probably the highest ROI out of all of them, just because they're so inexpensive to buy. You can buy games for so cheap, like I said, $15 to start with, up to probably the most expensive game. I mean, you can go as far as buying things like an air hockey table or a foosball table, ping pong table. Those things are going to still give a really good ROI as well, and I highly recommend those. But you're really looking at $15 to maybe $400. So it's not a lot of money to be spending. And depending on what listing you have, what you're looking to do, you can kind of slowly add these over time, choose the ones that are the best fit for your listing to start with, and expand from there. Games are a really, really great investment for any kind of family or group focused listing. Now, the next recommendation I would have, the next highest ROI that you're going to get, and honestly, this is going to be neck and neck if you do it the right way with games, is going to be a movie setup. So having some kind of a little kind of theater setup. It doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to go and spend $30,000 on a home theater. You can set up some kind of a nice movie setup, and that can really draw people to your listing because it gives you that kind of unique factor. There are going to be the one downside of games is that there are a lot of listings that have games, so you still can generate a really great return with these, but it's not really going to set your listing apart. It's becoming kind of the standard with family or group focused listings. A movie setup is something that's going to really set your listing apart from other listings. So one of the ways I really love to do this is to go and buy a $300 or $400 projector from Amazon, and then I'll just basically mount it on the roof so that it's not going to get damaged, not going to get knocked around or moved, mount it up there, and then have a sound bar. You can go and get a sound bar that gives you a really nice surround sound type feel for maybe $200, $300 again. And so you're about $600 into this setup on the top end, and you're gonna get a really nice kind of home theater feel. Just make sure that you have it in a room where there's a nice large wall that you can project onto. I don't see the need for a projection screen. I like it just fine being projected onto a nice wall. And make sure that in that room you also add blinds or curtains if you are going that route, so that you can completely block out the light and make sure that you can actually use that theater setup even when it's daytime. Now, you can go less expensive than this and get, just a larger larger TV, but honestly for $600, you can't really go wrong. It's pretty competitive with what you're gonna pay for a larger TV with a decent audio setup. So it's a really great option, gonna give people movie options. I also like to add in a Google Chromecast to that mix so that people can just cast right from their phone onto it. That's a really cool setup option as well. But you can also add things like an HDMI cable, which I like to add as well, so people can plug into it. You can add a dongle there if you want to go the extra mile so that someone with a MacBook that doesn't have an HDMI port can still plug into your system and actually use it to cast from their computer. You can add a DVD player and a bunch of DVDs there if you want to go more old school. There's really a lot of options, but again, any one of those is really only going to cost you maybe an extra $100 to $150. So that is going to be recommendation number 2. And recommendation number 3, this is where it can get to be a little bit more expensive, but honestly, you can do this relatively inexpensively. There's just kind of a range of how expensive you want to get, but this is going to be activity gear. So when I say activity gear, there's all kinds of different gear that you can add. And the really nice thing here is that, again, with families and groups, they're generally going to be looking for things to do. So if you can add a couple of bikes for the summertime, that's really great. If you can add a kayak, and one of the things that I really like to do is add a bike and a kayak, and then you can get these little kind of trolleys that go on the back of the kayak or a stand-up paddleboard, so you can, and then a little tow hook off the back of the bike, so you can tow the kayak to the water with a bike really easily. That's a pretty cool little setup there. And so anything like that, kind of water gear, paddleboards, kayaks, bikes, snowshoes for the winter are really great. And then you can also go even more high end and go for something like a sauna or a hot tub. I've actually found those to be, again, the more expensive that the amenity gets, as long as it's actually something that people value and want to book for, the more likely it is that it's going to set you apart from others, because adding snowshoes is pretty easy to do, so more people will do that, whereas adding a hot tub or a sauna is a lot more expensive, so fewer people want to take that plunge. What I've found though is that it almost always, in the right market, just make sure you look at the data to make sure it supports this in your market, but those types of bigger amenities are going to really attract people in the low season. I think that our property is performing about 3 times better than I expected it to right now in the low season. Just mostly, I think that's driven because of the hot tub and the sauna. Obviously, there's no way to know absolutely for sure, but looking at the best performing listings in my area, I can see that the best performers, especially throughout the low season, have either a hot tub or a sauna or both. So that's some things to think about. Make sure that if you do add any kind of activity gear, that you want to make sure that your insurance properly covers you for having those things at your short-term rental. That's a really important piece. If you're going to have a kayak or a bicycle or snowshoes or a hot tub even, you want to just make sure that you have good coverage for that with your insurance policy, and that your insurance obviously covers you for the use case of short-term rentals. So those are my 3 highest ROI amenities that I always love to add to my family-focused short-term rental properties. Let me know in the comments down below if you have other things that you really love to add. I would love to hear about them. Again, if you want access to our free training on exactly how to invest successfully and profitably into short-term rental properties, that is linked in the description down below. We're going to give you some free tools with that, and you'll also have the opportunity to speak with my investing and business partner Riley on a call to really put together a plan, a roadmap to help you invest successfully and reach your goals with investing in short-term rental properties. If you like this video, if you got value from it, please give it a thumbs up, hit that like button. It really helps me out as I grow this channel. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the 2 videos we post every single week. With that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.